Hey everybody, it's Preacher! And they've finally given us the first initial opener, go, Warlords of Draenor quest that will start our adventure. Our journey begins here. So I've included, as always, the locations where you actually start. A lot of people like to be prepared, and there's always that weird moment when a new expansion comes, is how exactly do I jump in and get started looking for the initial quest. So there it is on the map. You're going down to the Blasted Lands. Of course, the Dark Portal. Makes a lot of sense. We're going through the Dark Portal. And our mission is pretty clear. The Iron Horde are trying to get a foothold. We're going to put a stop to that. And then we're going to power on through the Dark Portal, which then leads us to the Tanan Jungle quest, which we've shown you already. And then onto Frostfire Ridge or Shadowmoon Valley, depending on your faction, where you'll set up your garrison and get going. So we now know our initial journey, the first couple of hours in. I did this on both Horde and Alliance. It's weird. Very weird, I've got to say. This is bizarrely out of place. I don't really know what's going on with this, and I'm kind of hoping some of it is placeholder, or maybe they're waiting feedback, or perhaps they think it's pretty good. I've got to say, this entire opening thing in the Blasted Lands, I was extremely bored for the first time in Warlords of Draenor. As I say, it feels out of place. This doesn't feel like anything I have played so far in Warlords. At all. Not even close. And this is the first thing we're going to do. It almost feels like they went back in time themselves and randomly generated some quests from the banality pile. This is how it feels. The entire purpose is to spend 30, 45 minutes, maybe your first time, depending on respawns and whatnot. You can complete it in about 20 minutes now, knowing the quests. And it's everything we've ever done in the Blasted Lands in vanilla. That's how old school I think this quest is. It's very 8 years ago. And I don't know why it's here. I wish someone could explain to me why they made this decision. It would make more sense if it was just arrive and jump into Tanan Jungle and go straight through the Dark Portal and do something. But instead they decided to include this 30-minute period of time where you'll run around the Blasted Lands trying to do some stuff which could be cool, but clearly isn't. I've shown you some clips of both of it from both sides, but essentially what you're doing is 3 quests, kill things, kill a kind of mini-boss, not really stronger, non-elite mob than normal, and click some stuff. You'll do those 3. You'll come back to the guy and he'll be like, okay, go and do it again over here. Good job, come back. All right, go do it again over here. And it's almost a repeating cycle very, very quickly. And I have to say, I've done the first zones, the Frostfire Ridge and Shadowmoon Valley now, roughly 19 or so times, and I haven't really been bored doing that. And that's interesting, because I'm not a great quester by any means. I had the horrible grind of getting through Mr. Pandaria, which nearly ruined my entire enjoyment of the game, leveling the classes for the guides and stuff. And I've done these zones so many times now and haven't really felt bored. It's always kind of interesting, it's beautiful, all the quests tend to have something going on, and if you don't, it's not long until they do. With this one, though, this entire quest sequence feels nothing more than a side quest. It actually feels like something you would pick up as a lore master. When you go back and you're looking for quests, and you're like, oh, I missed that quest. Kind of a mundane little chain, but whatever, I missed it, I'll pick it up. It shouldn't feel that way, right? I think we can all agree, especially considering how powerful and how strong the story and adventure is in Tanan Jungle, which is very, very cool. Surely they have a couple of these kinds of quests in there, but it's broken up very quickly by event, couple of mini-quests, event, couple of mini-quests, event. And that's awesome. That works. And then we jump into Frostfire Ridge. It's like, garrison, here's your garrison. Have a mooch around there, enjoying it. Go out into the world now. We've got rares dotted around. We've got random events dotted around. Very, very cool. And it's going to kick off with this. So let's get a little bit specific, in terms of feedback for alpha. This, well, beta as we are in now, because obviously our purpose here is to give feedback. Firstly, it's far too long. Far too long. It could be cut easily in half, and it would be less of a chore to get through it. It could, if the quests are to remain like this, it seriously needs to be cut in half. Really trimmed down to a 10-minute thing. Nothing more than that. If we're just, our entire purpose there is to get through the Dark Portal and stop the Iron Horde getting through, that's fine. That's all good. Let's jump through into that and get it going straight away, rather than have the similar sort of quests repeat themselves 3 or 4 times in an only 20-minute time period. That's a very short space of time to have similar quests occurring. It's a really short space of time to be going back to exactly the same place and repeating what we're doing before. If they are going to change anything, just change the quest entirely. Let's do that. Let's just kill the main heads or something along those lines. We do have to go to Netherguard. It could be entirely based within Netherguard Keep if that's something where we're going to have a mainstay. My other point I would like to say is I would rather see much more going on at the Dark Portal itself. Now, Having said that, the cutscene at the end of this event is broken, and we don't actually do anything at all at the Dark Portal, which is surrounded now by 92 elites. I'm almost hoping, because I've checked and I can't see any feedback on this, is that we'll actually, the second part of the quest after the cutscene will take place over at the Dark Portal with elites, and maybe we'll have something more enjoyable going on there. That is pure speculation, though, at this point, and I can't really say that's going to happen. But if that is going to happen, then really chop down the initial bit. Really cut this down, guys. Come on, let's chop this way down. Get rid of a lot of these quests. There is really no need for a 20-minute thing going on over at Netherguard Keep, which is well away from the Dark Portal. It's totally unnecessary for that to happen. We want to be over at the Dark Portal. One, it's a far more spectacular area to be doing things in. There's elites and stuff going on there, which means NPCs can be involved. We can be doing all kinds of extra stuff, and generally just a more enjoyable time. I've said this a couple of times about different games. Your first couple of hours of a new game, which is how we consider expansions here, should be a roller coaster, an absolute steamroller of events going on. Tanan Jungle, yes, is a roller coaster. The initial Frostfire Ridge stuff, and for Shadowmoon Valley, I mean, almost all of that zone is a roller coaster, is fantastic. This, though, feels so bizarrely out of place that I'm curious as to why it's there. Why does it exist? I just don't know. It makes no sense. These quests are exactly the same thing I did in the Blasted Lands in vanilla. They seriously are. Doing the quest in Netherguard Keep was no different back then. Absolutely the same. So it just feels curious. I can't even say I'm disappointed. I'm just confused as to why it is this way. Why does it exist in this manner? I have no idea. I couldn't put my finger on why this exists. It just felt like I was doing something from years ago. And to be bored within a 20-minute, 30-minute time frame, that's weird. That shouldn't happen. That really shouldn't happen. Especially when we start throwing in a realm's worth of people. I'm sure it's face only a certain amount of people will be in there, and mob spawns might be okay. But even if you're lacking a couple of mob spawns and having to run around a bit, you're going to have a really bad time. One good thing I could take away from this, though, is that using a flying mount, after playing for the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, however long we've had alpha and beta, I'm so thankful that we do not have flying mounts in Warlords of Draenor, because there is nothing that also killed the buzz. And maybe it would have been more exciting, slightly, ever so slightly, if I didn't have a flying mount. But it was a stark reminder of how flying ruins any form of quest and world interaction. I instantly got this old feeling back, a kind of deja vu of just wanting to fly to where I needed to be, click the thing I need to click, remount, fly to the next one, and just get this thing done. So it all became this simple click, 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 boring. I don't want to fight. And if you did aggro something, it was like, ah, God, I've aggroed something. Now I actually have to DPS and stuff. So that was a great thing to take away. After playing the game for so long without a flying mount, it was really nice to come back and say, this is why we needed to get rid of flying. Because no matter how much effort you put into it, I will give you a prime example. There is the final sort of boss mob that you'll do on this quest chain is at the very top of a tower. In Warlords of Draenor, you would be fighting your way up at the top of that tower, and let me tell you, the base of that tower is actually filled with mobs, and you have to be a little bit careful about what you do, because you can die in there. But I then realised, after doing the base of the tower and crawling up, because I was kind of in this Warlords of Draenor mindset where I can't just fly to the top, I then did it on the Alliance after I realised that, yeah, I can actually fly to the top. So when it came to me doing it on the Alliance side, all I did was fly to the top of the tower, kill the guy, and get out within about 10 seconds. Way world of difference between doing that quest. A huge world of difference. So it was nice to see that come out. There's your intro. That's where it's going to be. That's how it's going to start. For now, would love to see some changes to this. It seems very... There's no thought gone into this. I've got to say, there's no thought gone into this whatsoever. Everything's identical on both sides. It doesn't feel like there's teamwork. It doesn't feel like it's a threat. This feels like any old quest I would have found in the last few years, and just something I would do for XP. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.